Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only Hosting Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and to like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Hosting Cruz, and guys, it is official. We now know the opponent for Manny El Sensacional Rodriguez on the Subriel Matias versus Dalton Smith card. This is, we all know everyone's opponents. Javier Cintrón. We know his opponent. We know Alfredo El Santiago's opponent. And we also know Nestor Bravo's opponent. Now, today we found it out who Manny Rodriguez is going to fight. And he's going to fight none other than Fernando Diaz. Who is Fernando Diaz? 16 wins, 6 losses, and 1 draw, 6 KOs, Mexican-American fighter. Good fighter. Diaz is one of those fighters that gives prospects good fights, good challenges, good experiences. I remember when he fought Juan Carlos Camacho and Yankia Rivera. Both fights were competitive. And so he's known to fight guys that are coming up and needs to be tested. And he's that kind of opponent to test you. Win, lose, or draw. Unfortunately for him, anytime he's fought a prospect, he loses in competitive fights. But as we all know, Manny Rodriguez is not a prospect. He is a veteran in the game. 22 wins, 3 losses, and 13 KOs. Former world champion in the IBF, former IBF bantamweight champion of the world, who has not fought in a little than over a year against Ryosuke Nishida back in May of 2024 when Manny lost his IBF bantamweight title in a very competitive fight. So he hasn't fought since, and now here he is taking on Fernando Diaz on the Matias Smith card, and it's not a fight that will get me jumping and with excitement, like, yeah, I cannot wait to see this. But with Manny coming off a year layoff and Diaz, the more active fighter, even though he's coming off a loss, it's a good fight, because Diaz is known to give good fights. Win, lose, or draw, like I said. But this is a big step up for Diaz. Fighting a world champion from a world champion. Nice, very skilled boxer puncher. With excellent timing, with his counter punching. So I expect Manny to be in top form. I expect Manny Rodriguez to come in hungry, looking for that another world title shot. And Diaz, of course, who's never been out of shape for a fight. He's been, like I said, he comes and gives it his best. Win, lose, or draw. He's trying to come off. He's trying to knock off. Score an upset, basically. So, Manny Rodriguez versus Fernando Diaz is official on the Subriel Matias versus Dalton Smith card. So far in the card, ladies and gentlemen, we got Nestor Bravo taking on Pedro Campa in what should be an all-Mexican versus Puerto Rican war. That should be a great fight, actually. Two power punchers in there, flat-footed guys, giving us exciting exchanges. I can see it. And then you got Javier Cintrón versus Jonathan Rodriguez, a Mexican fighter, 25-2, 17 KOs. Not too excited about that fight because, on paper it looks good, but Mr. Jonathan Rodriguez has not fought in a couple years. So this guy hasn't lost in a minute since 2021, but he hasn't fought in a couple years. Last fight was a draw. So, more like he comes in shape and hungry, and he tries to give Cintrón a good fight. And, of course, the boxing fans who's going to tune in, who's going to attend at the Barclays Center. So you got that fight, and then you got, on the other hand, Alfredo Ojo Santiago against Henry Sereno. I made a video about that fight, a very exciting fight between two very good fighters from the Dominican Republic. Two good Dominican fighters. You rarely see that in the sport of boxing. Two good Dominican fighters going at it with it. Both guys have potential to be world champion. You know, they're very skilled. They're very crafty. And like I said in the video, even though Alfredo Ojo Santiago is coming in with 2 losses on his record, he still has the chance to be a world champion because he's been on a roll since. And on top of that, you got Keith Colon, who's a very good fighter, Puerto Rican fighter, undefeated, 8-0, 8 KOs, who just recently fought on October 18th, and he won that fight by TKO in the 3rd round. So you got that. There's no opponent to be announced. There's no opponent yet for him on the card, but he's on the card for sure. So yeah, so far, ladies and gentlemen, Emmanuel Rodriguez versus Fernando Diaz. You got Néstor Bravo versus Pedro Campa. You got Javier Cintron versus Jonathan Rodriguez. You got Alfredo Santiago versus Henry Sereno. And then you got the main event, Subriel Matias versus Dalton Smith. Now, if you ask me about this card, does it scream a sellout at the Barclays? Nah, I'll be honest. The only fight that excites me on this card besides Subriel Matias and Smith is the Henry Sereno, Alfredo Ojo Santiago versus Henry Sereno fight. I mean, those 2 fights, Santiago versus Sereno and Matias versus Smith, those 2 fights are pretty solid fights. Those are the 2 fights that really excite me on the card. Everything else is just mid. It doesn't scream a sellout at the Barclays. You know, it doesn't scream sellout. And the tickets for the Subriel Matias versus Smith fight, very expensive, 2,000 plus front row. So good luck to those that want front row, and for those that can afford it, good for you. You guys will enjoy a good fight with Subriel Matias versus Smith, and I'm sure you're gonna enjoy a good fight with Ojo Santiago and Henry Sereno. Right? That's what I expect from those 2 fights. Very competitive, good action in there. And yeah, and I even said Néstor Bravo versus Pedro Campa is a tremendous fight as well. But on paper, the ones that really excite me the most are the co-main and the main event. Ojo versus Sereno and Smith versus Matias. I don't know what you guys think, but let me know in the comment section below if this card excites you, if this card sounds like a sellout of the Barclays, or is it going to be a flop. The co-main event, Ojo Santiago versus Henry Sereno, has the makings to be a tremendous fight. Main event, of course, solid as it gets. So yeah, Manny Rodriguez. The video's about Manny Rodriguez versus Fernando Diaz. That is the latest installment on the main portion card for the Subriel Matias versus Dalton Smith. Now, of course, I'll be looking forward to Subriel Matias versus Smith, and of course, Ojo Santiago, like I said, versus Sereno. Those are the only 2 fights that really intrigues me, really has my attention. Everything else is mid. So yeah, let me know what you guys think on this card. Let me know what you guys think about the card, man. Manny Rodriguez versus Fernando Diaz, Néstor Bravo versus Pedro Campa, Alfredo Ojo Santiago versus Henry Sereno, and Subriel Matias versus Dalton Smith. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Jose Cruz. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. It is always a pleasure to talk to you guys about boxing. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.